Possibilities presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit about myself: corporate professional by day, entrepreneur by night, 5-time best-selling author, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, and founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLC. Tonight, we have an amazing special VIP guest by the name of Stephanie D. Barnes. A little bit about her. Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes is an attorney and business strategist that serves business leaders and corporate entities. Her diverse legal and business experience as a former general counsel positions her as the counsel you want to have at the table to get the deal done. She is the premier counsel for business formation, business development, compliance, corporate governance, intellectual property, legal guidance on complex matters. Dr. Stephanie is the founder of the C-Suite Women's Network, where women become the CEO of their lives. Dr. Barnes has been featured in the Harvard Business Review, Personal Excellence Magazine, and the Huffington Post. Her mission is to get you to your C-suite, where you make the decisions to create the life you desire and deserve. Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes is the CEO of the Fruition Group, LLC, a company that specializes in leadership development and corporate strategy planning activities. Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes is an internationally recognized speaker, TEDx presenter, and media personality. She is the host of the talk show and podcast, Conversations from the C-Suite, The Girlfriend's Guide to Being a CEO. This project is the first in her media cachet of impactful content to empower and enrich women and girls. Welcome to the table, the amazing Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad to be at the table, and what a great table this is. I've been looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to a great conversation.
Amazing. So, Dr. Barnes, you have an amazing bio. So please tell us more about your entrepreneur journey.
Well, it has been quite a journey, and I love the use of that word because, as you can imagine with a journey, you have, you start out with one destination and along the way you end up going different places, ups and downs. So it's a great representation of the entrepreneurial experience, definitely. Mm-hmm. But it all began when, I decided I wanted to just be a CEO. I had this fascination with being a CEO because I felt like having that title and that position was going to, be the answer to all of my problems, and I'd just be great, as long as I got that title. And as I was on that journey of trying to become this position, I discovered a lot about what it truly means to be a CEO and the beauty of being able to use your influence to create impact and add value, and ended up doing a lot of research on leadership and decided that I wanted to create other leaders at the company I worked for at the time, and started a leadership program. And it led me to decide that was what I wanted to do for a living. And I started my company, the Fruition Group, as a leadership development company and offered classes to the community and coaching. And that's kind of what got me on this journey of being an entrepreneur, kind of starting out with this personal quest, very self-centered quest that turned into something that truly has enabled me to help a lot of people to be leaders in their own right. So it's kind of how I got started and how I got on this journey.
I love it. So, Dr. Stephanie, you are passionate about helping, serving business leaders and corporate entities. Mm-hmm. So please tell us more about your passion.
Well, I have had a wonderful career. Started out, of course, as an attorney and transformed into an attorney who was also, someone who helped with leadership development. But my first huge leadership role, or because I started out working in law firms, so I have a legal career that spans from, private law firms to working in-house to having my own firm and working with others. But, when I went in-house, I actually became responsible for other people. I was responsible for a department and working within a company. It's a lot different as an attorney working inside a company than it is being an external advisor. But part of the responsibilities I had was risk management. And I quickly decided that I didn't want to just avoid lawsuits and respond to lawsuits. I wanted to help improve quality. I worked for a healthcare company, and I understood that if we improved quality, we would reduce risk because we would have better outcomes. And that led me to a love affair with process improvement. I've always been fascinated with efficiency and systems, but in becoming a better leader of risk management, I became more disciplined at process improvement and systems. And this is a discipline that I bring into helping the business clients that I serve, because everything that we do is based on a system, and it's either a broken system or a unacknowledged system, or one that works very well that we're not even aware that works very well. So I use all of the disciplines that I've learned over the years doing process improvement from a healthcare improvement perspective to helping businesses improve the health, if you will, of their companies and the way they structure their professional relationships, their business relationships, and really helping them to tap into those systems, those innate qualities that they have built up over the years of their experience, or to develop those disciplines so that they're, work smarter, not harder. You hear that saying often. But that's my approach to helping businesses, is helping them to tap into what they do right and doing that more often.
I love that. So let's dig a little deeper. So what are some strategies you would give to business owners when hiring their legal team? So hiring your legal team is important, right? It's important because they're the face of your business, and it's important for you to know who's dealing with your legal side. So could you talk to us about that? Mm-hmm.
And I'll say one of the most important things that a business owner can do when hiring a legal team or engaging a legal team is selecting attorneys that are going to tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. Because attorneys, they have to balance between being the harbingers of bad news, i.e. you can't do this, that's illegal, that's not going to work, and solution builders, helping you to figure out how to do what it is that you desire to do in a legal way. And the best attorney, even though it may annoy you sometimes, may even make you angry, but the attorney that's going to push back and ask why. Why do you want to do that? What are you trying to accomplish? What if you do other things? So you want a questioning attorney, not a questioning attorney as in they don't know what they're doing, they don't know what you're doing, but those who really ask those tough questions so that the end product is well thought out. It is the best approach to help you to get where you want to go long term, even if that means not doing it the way you want to do it, but doing it in a fashion that allows you to get to your goal. So select an attorney that's going to tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear.
I love it. What you need to hear and not what you want to hear. That is so important. That is so important, especially when trying to get to the next level. Because we know as business owners, sometimes we don't like to hear no, right? Right.
And, and good lawyers will tell you no in a way that helps you get to yes. And and that's where you want someone who is also truly a business partner, in the sense of they're really vested in helping you get to where you want to go. And they're not just going to tell you, well, no, you can't do that. But no, you can't do it this way. But what if you consider doing it that way? So a lawyer that tells you no but gets you to yes.
And one that believes in your vision, right?
I love that. That's key. That's key.
Yes. So why is it important for business owners to trademark their business? Why? Well, let me ask it another way.
Yeah.
Why should business owners trademark their business?
Well, you want to protect your creativity, and this is something, especially for business owners who are creative, artists, writers, and people who are inventors tend to think of intellectual property because it's in a more tangible way. You're creating a machine, you're creating a tangible thing that you can touch. But your name, your images, your logos, the things that are more creative and perhaps a little bit more intangible to you, you really don't think about those as something that you need to protect. And it's all about protecting your ideas. There's no true original idea. Everything that we do is a recreation, transformation of something that's existed. And we use an existing idea and we truly transform it into something different, and it becomes our own. But you need to protect that so that you can benefit from the value of your new idea or your transformed idea. So, making sure that you're trademarking your name, trademarking your, certain sayings. And, sometimes we think, I know, there was a lot of controversy or just discussion around, for example, when Cardi B wanted to trademark her famous "Okay," right? I can't say it like Cardi B.
Right, yeah.
But, that, I don't say it well, at least like she does. But, she wanted to trademark that. And because there's a value to that. That has become associated with her. When you see her in the Pepsi commercial, what does she use? Her famous saying. I don't think she was eventually successful in actually getting it trademarked. But again, you want to be able to capitalize on the value of what you bring to the table. Because if you don't, somebody else will, and then you'll be sitting there with your mouth stuck out. And upset that somebody else is literally profiting off of your greatness.
That is so important. I'm so glad you shine light on that, because I think more business owners should do that, right? Because you can't really say anything if you don't, you can, but it's not. It's your legacy, right? When you trademark it, it becomes your legacy. Yeah.
Right. And kind of the flip side to that, I just want to say, is investing in the value of non-disclosure agreements. And, these are simple agreements, because we want to share our vision, we want to share our ideas, especially when we are entertaining business partners, collaborations. And you want to collaborate, and I love collaborating. But even in collaborations, you have to protect your interests.
Yes.
So, if you are dealing with someone who is offended by a non-disclosure agreement, I believe that speaks a lot to their integrity, because real business people understand the value of protecting their ideas, and actually they should ask for it before you do. So protect the value of your ideas and just add a level of integrity to your business dealings. It doesn't prevent people from still not doing the right thing, but at least you put some protections in place so that you can profit from your own greatness.
And I'm so glad you said NDAs, because I use the NDA for everything. You are right. You are right. That is so, so important. We got to protect it.
Right.
Yes. So you are the CEO and founder of C-Suite Women's Network. So please tell us more about your amazing network and how we can support and get involved.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned, I got on this whole journey because I wanted to be a CEO, and over the years, my initial business was called Fabulous University, because I believe in transcending the ordinary to create the extraordinary version of yourself. And that eventually evolved into me wanting to have making sure that every woman could be the CEO of her life, because, I focus primarily on women, and it's because I women are great leaders, and we deserve to have a seat at the table. And I recognized, early on that there were not enough women at the table, literally. And so C-Suite Women's Network is an effort to ensure that I get more women at the table, because I believe that, there is never a situation where there's not enough room, because if your table is filling up, then that just means it's time to build another one, and you continue that on. So the C-Suite Women's Network is helping women to be the CEO of their own lives and to create a seat at the table for themselves.
I love that. And so what is some advice you would give to listeners who are working towards the C-suite, like they're aspiring to be in the C-suite one day? What is some advice you would give to listeners?
Well, it's about studying CEOs, honestly. And, there's the traditional CEO that for many years when we thought of a CEO, we thought about the literal person at the head of a corporation. But that's just one form of a CEO, Chief Executive Officer. What that means is the head person who's responsible for getting things done. And, we can learn from history. We can learn from, the great CEOs who have written books. We can learn from the CEOs we see in our everyday life. So that's the first thing, is just to find someone that you can learn from. Because as I mentioned earlier, there's never really an original idea. We're always a greater and higher version of what exists in the world. And so, start by just reading. What do other CEOs do? How do they act? How do they behave? How did they become CEOs? How did they achieve their greatness? And then you create your own version of that, because there's no one way to become a CEO. If you're literally working in a corporation and you desire to get to the C-suite, you've got to challenge yourself. You've got to connect with other leaders. You've got to add value, because people don't pay you just because they think you're cool. They're not going to promote you just because they like you. They're going to promote you when they see you add value. So you've got to stretch yourself and really commit to it. So, learn about other CEOs, create your own version of that, and then begin to apply it. Stretch yourself, get those stretch projects. If you're literally in a corporation, if you want to be the CEO of your own company, you've got to figure out what value you add in the marketplace, and then you learn from other entrepreneurs who've done that, and you figure out what works for you. And it's key to figure out what works for you and what is greatly tied to your personal vision, because you can be successful just replicating what someone else is doing, but you will be the most successful when you're doing in the marketplace what you are meant to do and what is closely tied to your purpose and your vision.
I love that you shared those nuggets, because, like you said, sometimes people think it's just the traditional side of it, right? There's so many different versions of it, but it's all about studying who you want to become, studying that person, doing that research, like you said, and making sure that you're passionate about it and it's something that you want to do.
Right. You've got to be passionate about it, because, that's something that even on my own entrepreneurial journey that I've had to deal with personally, because, when I started this, it was to develop leaders in the community, in the corporate world, and in the marketplace. And, based on the people that I worked with at one time, I kind of got off track, but I did get off track. And, even though I was doing great work, it wasn't tied to what my purpose was and what I desired to do. And I had to recalibrate and make sure that I got back on my path and focused on what was meant for me in the marketplace, and not just doing what I'm good at. Because sometimes what you're good at is not what you're great at. And that may kind of sound a little funny, but it's just about making sure that, again, you are doing what is truly your purpose and your vision.
Yep. I love that, and thanks for shining light on that, because a lot of people, like you said, sometimes you compare yourself. You gotta be passionate about what your journey is and do what you're passionate about. So why is it important to create room for others at the table? Because I know you're very big on that, and serving is part of the process, right, of getting to that next level. So why is it so important to create room for others? And I know you've created many spaces for other women to come to the table.
Well, it's really about, you can frame it in different ways. You can say it's karma. You can say it's you reap what you sow. But it's really about having an abundance mentality and recognizing that what's for you is for you. No one else can take. And there truly is enough room at the table, metaphorically and literally. And the more value you add to the world, the more value you get back. It's about reciprocity. It's about a return on your investment. And when you help others to become great in their own space, because they can't take what's yours, they can only do, what they were meant to do. And when you empower another woman in particular, again, that's what my focus is. And, but when you empower another woman to be great in her own right, it doesn't take anything away from you. And I truly believe it adds value in the universe, however you want to look at it. I believe that we are responsible for creating the energy we want to receive back. And, when we serve others, we add value. That is creating an energy that enables us to grow, enables us to go further, and connects us to things beyond what we could ever do if all we focus on was ourselves. And when you look at the marketplace, it's not about selfish people. It is about adding value to others. People don't buy Coca-Cola just because, they think the leaders are cool, or because they like the people who work at Coca-Cola. They buy Coca-Cola because of the value it adds to their lives. They like it. I mean, it's a drink they enjoy, So it's kind of the same. You have to look at building up other people in the same way we look at bringing products to the market. Who's going to want to buy it? Who's going to add value? Who's going to feel that this is adding value to their lives? And the more you do that in other people, the more you attract people who want to help you. And then kind of at the end of the day, it's just the right thing to do. It's we don't get to where no one gets to the C-suite by themselves. In the metaphorical C-suite of their lives or the literal C-suite of a company, we all get here because of the relationships we build and because someone saw value in us and connected us to another valuable opportunity. So it's just a way of getting further in your life by helping someone else to get further in theirs.
Love that. I love it because we really all can win. There's room for all of us at the table. So you are the CEO and founder of the Fruition Group, LLC. So please tell us more about your company.
Okay. This company has actually been around since, 2009. I formed this company as a way to, the legal vehicle to do my leadership work. And over the years, I started out doing workshops and conferences and then began doing strategic planning for organizations and eventually coaching. So it has grown with me over the years, and fruition means to bring to life, and so it's very intentional in the name of the company. And it has afforded me a great opportunity to do my passion as a business, because I love leadership development and love coaching and building up others, and it has just truly given me a vehicle for being able to do that. and it's still around.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So tell us more about your amazing podcast, Conversations from the C-Suite, Girlfriend's Guide to Being a CEO. So tell us more about it and how we can go listen and support.
Okay. Well, I believe in evolution, and, over the years, I started out, like I say, doing the live events, workshops, community leadership development, and, as I have evolved and become exposed to different things, my interests have evolved, and actually I am in the midst of, becoming a better leader. I decided to get my PhD in organizational leadership, and I ended up doing my dissertation on the influence of reality television on the development of leadership identity in girls, and that really opened my eyes to the power of media. And I recognized from my own experiences as a young girl and through the research that media influences play a large role in not only leadership identity, but a lot of things about our self-identity, because we see these people, on the TV screen, on the movie screen, and emulate certain aspects of their lives. And, of course, with the proliferation of reality TV, there can be all these different concepts about what truly is real, even though, honestly, reality TV is not really reality. It's not really scripted, but that's, it's for entertainment as well. But because of that research and commitment to truly having a desire to create media that enhances and enriches the lives of girls and women, I found that my coaching, the next evolution of my coaching, was my podcast, because it's a way to have great conversations, because we learn a lot from each other through great conversations. So it started out as me just doing Facebook Lives and recording them. And eventually I converted the video to podcast and launched it last year, 2019. And, of course, it can be found on all of the podcast platforms. And it's a great way to just hear from women who have decided to be the CEO of their lives. And, again, it's part of that aspect of learning from other people who are doing what you want to do. And we, in the first season, tackled, just a lot of different topics that everyday women, everyday CEOs deal with: mental wellness, dealing with our relationships, dealing with, just all of the different aspects that we have to make in our personal and our professional lives. And the second season is focusing on a concept called Living Life in the And, where it's actually a research project where I am interviewing women to learn, how they live life in the And. And just real quickly, living life in the And is when you decide what you desire and deserve in your life can happen, and you figure out how to do this and that, rather than putting yourself in a corner or in a box and deciding, or, am I going to be a mother or a wife? Mother or a career woman? Am I going to be a wife or a CEO? Living life in the And is where you look at all of your different options. You make decisions that help you to be a mother and a career woman, a wife and a business owner, or whatever the combination is. But it's truly searching for the possibilities in your life and learning from different women who have decided to go against the odds and just do what it is they desire to do. So that's a little bit about Conversations from the C-Suite.
And how can everybody go listen? What platforms are you on?
So it is on all of the major platforms. You can go to, I'm just looking at the Because I, of course, listen to all of mine on my Apple podcast. So it's on Apple, it's on Anchor, it's on Spotify. But if you just search for Conversations from the C-Suite, you will be able to find it.
So please go support her and listen to this amazing podcast that Dr. Stephanie has created to reach back and continue to help others a seat at the table, pretty much, and get to the C-suite and become the CEO of their lives. So you have built multiple tables for yourself, Dr. Barnes. So tell us, I ask all of my guests this question, how did you create your seat at the table?
Well, it's kind of just exactly as you've answered the question, but obviously some details, but I created it. and that's something that I think a lot of people overlook the simplicity yet complexity of living the life you desire and deserve. You truly have to create those moments, and you have to decide that you're going to go for it, and then you look for every opportunity to create it. Because, certainly you will be given certain things in life. Somebody's going to give you a hand. Somebody's going to give you an opportunity. They're going to give you a chance. But ultimately, it's what you do every day to create the life you desire and deserve, to create your seat at the table. And as I alluded to earlier, there's no such thing as a table that can't hold enough people, that it just creates an opportunity for you to create yet another table. And so it's the first thing, though, I would say is you have to have the mindset that you can create it, that it is possible. That's the first step of creation. You have to see it in your mind before you see it in reality. And so getting your mind right, as I'd like to say it, that, hey, I deserve a seat at the table. I believe I can be at that table. I believe I belong, and I believe I will be there. So that's the first thing is your mindset. The second thing is really looking at the people in your life and recognizing that you've got to have the right people at your own table, your own personal table, and then you've got to connect with the right people to get to the next level table. And the third thing is your systems. I talked about that earlier. Everything is a system, and what I mean by system is a disciplined way of doing things, being organized, knowing what works and why it works, and repeating that success. Because a lot of times we'll focus on what went wrong. We don't spend enough time on understanding what goes right in our lives. And the things that go right, when we have our greatest successes, there are certain conditions that happen that if we pay attention to it, we can replicate that success. So that's the third thing is knowing your systems. How do you do what you do when you do your best? The fourth thing is getting mad. And that might be counterintuitive, but stick with me, because a lot of times when things don't go the way we want, we get what I call a little mad. We literally get angry. We get hurt. We get disappointed, and we dwell on the fact that it's not going the way that we want to. But if we really want to create our own seat at the table, we got to get big mad. And big mad means we get motivated and determined. You have to be motivated and determined. And just recognize that, things don't always go as you plan them, but they always go as they should. And what I mean by that is it eventually works its way out when you remain motivated and determined, and then continuously ask yourself, how can I? How can I? How can I? And then the last thing you've got to do to create your seat at the table is you've got to know your why. What is your purpose? Why are you doing this in the first place? What is your reason for creating the table? And that purpose certainly is about you, but ultimately has to be anchored in value. What value are you going to bring to the world? And what will people in the world miss because you don't show up to create your seat at the table? So that's general overview of how I've created my seats at the table and the different tables I've had the privilege of sitting around, and those that I have yet to create, and how I've helped others to create their own table.
I love it. I love it. And thanks for shining a light on that, because don't wait for people to give you a seat. Create your own, but it is ways to go about this. So thank you for breaking that down for our listeners that are listening. So what did failure teach you on your journey?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. So, I have, and this is all about perspective, I have had the privilege of experiencing some spectacular failures, particularly in the last couple of years. And what I mean by spectacular failures, I mean, it's really important as a leader and really as a human being to have a healthy perspective of failures. And certainly nobody wakes up every day, oh, I can't wait to fail. Oh, I hope I fail at something today. And boy, it feels so good to fail. Nobody does that. And I'm not suggesting anything like that. But you really got to have a healthy perspective of failures. And I like to look at the successful failures in the world. And one of my favorite successful failures to look at is Oprah Winfrey. And I remember reading an article or a story about her, I don't know, years ago, where she talked about her journey to becoming, the Oprah we know today, the owner of Harpo Studios, the owner of the Oprah Winfrey Network, the billionaire. But she launched her career as we know it now from a demotion. She was an anchor on a news channel, and she basically got demoted to being a talk show host. And what do we know Oprah for? Being a talk show host. How did she get her greatness? So she took a situation where she literally was demoted on her job and promoted herself to a level of success that she probably would have never, just imagined had she not experienced that. And I think about Michael Jordan. We reflect on Michael Jordan as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And one of the things he shares about himself is that when he was in high school, he got cut from his team. And he took that rejection, that failure, and motivated himself. He got real motivated and determined, and became excellent at his craft. So that's something that I have looked to as I have experienced my own personal failures, is instead of relishing on what went wrong, what I didn't get, where I fell short, to look for lessons learned and to look for the fact that I survived it all. There's not a failure that I've endured that I've not survived. So that teaches me something about my own strength, and it teaches me something about what I can do. So I think, we have to, in our own lives, look at failure from a healthy perspective and recognize that, most failures are not fatal. They are truly opportunities for elevation if we choose to find the lessons learned and choose to elevate ourselves rather than to just remain at the bottom of our pits.
I like that. Because it's a lesson, right? It's a lesson, and we have to embrace the process to get to the next level. And a lot of people don't like being uncomfortable, but you have to embrace that. So what did success teach you? Because you're very successful.
Well, I think one of the greatest lessons that I've learned from success is the joy one gets from creating value for others, because of every success I've had, there's always someone on the other side of that success that has benefited from it. And that's something that is personally rewarding, but also highlights the relevance that each of us has to the others around us. You know, we're not here just to achieve for ourselves. And definitely we all deserve prosperity. Definitely we all deserve to be wealthy. And definitely we all deserve to have the things in life that bring us joy. And that should be a product of success. However, it shouldn't be the only product of success. We should add to our material wealth the spiritual and, what I want to say, the wealth of just adding value to others. And so that's the thing, is especially just kind of, you know, over the years as I've looked at success, is really focusing on who did it help besides me. And most of the time, you know, I'm able to identify a person or group of people or whatever, someone who benefited from it, and that just makes it even more rewarding.
I love that. I love that. So what can we expect from you the rest of 2020, Dr. Barnes? We are in a new decade and a new year.
Yes.
And I know you have some amazing things that you're about to continue to do.
Well, yes, this is my Vision 2020 year. And, you know, my goal, and now I believe publication is a way of accountability. I talked about the Living Life in the AN Project, and definitely over the rest of 2020, you know, continuing that and getting some more episodes of the podcast out there, and just continuing to create new media projects. And one of my biggest things to complete or accomplishments for 2020, I've just completed another book, and it's being edited now. It's called Disruptive Elevation, When Life Doesn't Go as Planned, but goes exactly as it should. So I will have it published this year, and looking forward to creating another bestseller. So those are just two things that I have on my plate for 2020. I've got some other projects under my belt, but those are two of the biggest things that I'm working on this year.
Well, super congratulations on all of the great things that you have going on, Dr. Barnes. I know you didn't name some, because I know I'm a big believer in moving in silence as well. So congratulations on the new book and all of the great things that I know that God is going to birth through you in this new year and new decade.
Yes, well, I certainly receive that, and thank you for it. And just grateful that, you know, every year and every day I'm truly given the opportunity to do something that I love, but also something that adds value to others.
I love it. So will you please tell our listeners how they can follow you and support you on all social media platforms?
Okay. Well, I am on Instagram as Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes. It's just my whole name. And my website is actually drstephaniedbarnes.com. I'll make it easy for y'all. But if you just search for Stephanie D. Barnes, you can find me. So Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes on Instagram and Facebook. And, again, my website is drstephaniedbarnes.com.
So please follow Dr. Barnes and support her. She's doing some great things. She's definitely somebody to know and connect with. So, Dr. Stephanie, thank you so much for taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule to come to the table tonight. This has been an amazing interview, and I can't wait to invite you back to the table.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad that you invited me to your table. I know we've been working on this for a while, and glad that it finally came to fruition. See, look, it all came together.
Yes, it did, and it has been amazing, and I can't wait to invite you back this year. And I know when you come back, we're going to have a lot more to talk about.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. On top of what she has already have done and creating all of these spaces for women and business owners to get to the next level. And I just want to commend you for all the great things that you are consistently doing, Dr. Barnes, on a daily basis to help others.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be at your table, and thank you for giving people a platform to create a seat at the table. And I look forward to hearing a lot more greatness, seeing a lot more greatness, rather, from you. And thank you for all that you do to create a seat at the table.
You are welcome, and I look forward to working with you and collaborating with you in this new year.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. So I would like to give a special thanks to my intern, Sarah, from Tennessee State University. I would also like to give a special thanks to my intern, Vontaria, from Winston-Salem State University. You all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.